You are a candidate. Please be.
Good afternoon all. My name is Manan Bhat. I live in Srinagar. I have done my bachelor's in electronics and communication from NIT Srinagar. I have 4 years of experience in urban mobility solutions with my hobbies as cricket, football and leisure book.
You are from Navshara. Navshara?
Sora. It's the there's a post
office Navshara.
Post office in Navshara.
You are a service background of your parents.
Yes, sir.
Your father is additional secretary, legislative council, retired.
Yes.
Your mother deputy secretary, labor, retired. Is it because of your parents being in civil services or secretariat services, you are trying for the civil services?
So there are a variety of reasons for me to come into the civil services, and one of them reasons is the inspiration from my parents. One of the reasons is the inspiration from my parents.
Your optional was
Anthropology.
Anthro.
Yes.
How would you say you have gone through anthropology extensively? Can you give me briefly in 20 words about evolution of man?
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens till erected man.
Yes. So the evolution of Homo sapiens can be traced back from the divergence in the evolution tree from the apes. There was a common ancestor of the apes and the hominid, wherein there was Australopithecus, Homo erectus, then after that there was Homo habilis, and after that there is Homo sapiens.
What kind of gender relations were there?
Relations in
gender?
So I'm not...
Male, female?
In Homo, I mean in who?
Huh.
So I'm not understanding
At
gender
the
relations.
stage of this evolution, now eventually culminating into erected person, है ना?
Yes, sir.
At that stage, what kind of relations, what type of job description was between men and women?
Okay. So if we see in the...
right now you are also seeking a job.
Yes, sir.
I'm relating it with job. What type of job description was between male and female?
Okay. So if we see the evolutionary tree from the Australopithecine, where there is a divergence between the apes and the man, we can see most of the foraging in the outside atmosphere was done by the man. But there were certain species within the apes also where female had the higher in the hierarchy, wherein they could decide who will go out for foraging, or there was the practice of twitching, like they take out that insects out from the tree, so they will decide who will go where. And within the family, the distribution of the food was mostly man based, but in certain apes we can see that the food distribution or who will marry whom is with the female also. So I can give you an example. In baboons, once the female is not pregnant, she doesn't bear a child, she has a higher hierarchy. But once she is married and she bears a child, she drops out of the hierarchy.
This monument or archaeological some object or some remnants in the vicinity of your area?
Yes, sir. Sir, there is Dumat in Sora.
What is that?
It's a monument which was built by Zainul Abidin, but now it's no more there.
Who was this Zainul Abidin?
Sir, he was a king from the Shahmiri dynasty.
How do you rate him? Have you read his?
So I haven't read extensively, but I can say little I have known about him. I mean, he's known as the Akbar of Kashmir because of his religious tolerance.
Was he native?
No, sir.
Where from?
I have no idea about that.
So who was the last native Kashmiri king?
Yusuf Chak.
Was he Kashmiri?
Sir, I don't have idea. I've just heard it somewhere.
Chaks are Kashmiri?
No, sir. Sir,
then?
I think, sir, as far as I remember, the last ruler, Yusuf Chak, is buried in Bihar.
I am not asking where he is.
Sir, I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Okay.
You are from electronics and communication, isn't it?
Yes,
Kashmir, they say, is surplus with the water hydroelectric potential, and Kashmir produces a lot of electricity.
So
Yet,
it doesn't produce the potential it has.
no, listen to the question carefully first. My question is slightly different. So Kashmir has the potential, or it produces electricity, isn't it? But then, as the winter comes, we have the power cuts, and the people keep on saying that our resources are exploited by the government of India. They take the power from here, and whereas we buy it at a higher cost, and the government cannot buy it. What is this problem? This electricity का जो hydroelectric power the problem है, what is the problem, and what is the solution?
So hydroelectricity as a power resource, there the problem is with we have not tapped our potential. For example, as of now, we are just generating around 3,500 megawatt, while the actual potential is around 16,000 to 20,000 megawatt. And
How much we are generating?
3,500 megawatt
From all,
from hydro.
from all the hydro, we have only hydro. We don't have.
Yes,
do we have any other
So thermal we have
thermal? Where is it?
5,000 or 3,500?
3,500.
So,
So,
what is our requirement?
so requirement as of winter. Right now in winters we require around. So I don't have.
Do we get all the power that is being generated in Kashmir?
From is the power we use is indigenous.
I mean, it's the power that is being generated by the hydroelectric power stations in Kashmir. Is it all being given to Kashmir?
No, sir.
J&K.
J&K. What percentage do we get?
Around 30%.
Where does the rest go?
So it goes to the northern grid.
Northern grid. So, what is the issue?
So the issue I can see. I mean, whenever we generate power, the power is with most of the power is with NHPC. So they will decide with the recommendations of the central government who will get how much power. It's not like we only give power to them. We also take power out from the other states also. Like Punjab is there, so we take power from them. So what I can feel the main problem with the power sector is that there's a lot of generation potential, but there are certain problems. For example, there is an infrastructure problem. It's a capital intensive thing. So blame gaming that power is taken out from here, we don't get. It's not a viable argument to be put forward.
Why not?
So because it's the requirement of the investment, not the blame gaming. We should get more investment to here. Like when there will be stability within the state, investments will come.
What is the solution?
So according to me, the solution should be we should develop our own companies. Like there is state SPDCL is there. It should be given more authority with respect to power generation, or we can tap into the renewable resources, or certain thermal power plants we can tap into, and there should be a regulation of tariffs. I mean, regulation of tariffs should be there.
Okay. So, about the international issues, which one do you think is the biggest issue right now which is being discussed internationally?
So there are a lot. What according to me, for India, the major issue is the expansionism of China. Because China is the existential threat in the entire Asian neighborhood because of their policies.
Is it a global issue or is it an Indian issue?
No, I'm saying it is a global issue, but China stands at the door of India.
So, what will be the implications for India?
So if you see the behavior of China on the international stage, it's a hegemony. They want the growth of Asian order, but on their terms.
Who?
The Chinese.
Chinese, okay.
So what India wants is the rise of Asia, where there is equal contribution of all the member states within the Asia. So China is one. The second is the Russia-Ukraine war, which is going on.
So what is this war about?
So
Russia and Ukraine war?
So it is about territorial expansionism of Russia, which threatens the sovereignty of Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. So why do they want that?
So because they want.
Why have they attacked Ukraine?
Because they want. I mean, reason that Russia has given is that there are certain separatist groups within the Donetsk and Luhansk region, which are threat to their existence. But it can be seen that it is more about the old Soviet order which they want to create by pulling certain territories of the old USSR.
Mm-hmm. But then why only Ukraine? If they want to restore old Russian order, old USSR order, why targeting Ukraine only? Why not other states, which are comparatively weaker? But then only Ukraine. Why Ukraine?
So why they are targeting Ukraine is because Ukraine stands at the border of NATO and the Russia, because the Ukraine is the only state which does not come within the NATO so close to Russia. Once Ukraine comes within the NATO, then it's like the Article 5 of NATO where all the states will attack Russia. So Ukraine is the main area where they want to focus so that it comes within their domain.
Okay. Manan, talking about the territorial expansion of Russia, it was actually the eastern expansion of NATO, which Russia actually uses as a reason that why they attacked the Ukraine. So, do you think it's that is the reason, the eastern expansion of NATO, which is actually a threat for Russia itself?
So any state we can take has the first and foremost priority to maintain its sovereignty, territorial sovereignty and integrity. So as per the different agreements which have taken place, they had, Russia and the Europe, they had put a restriction on the number of states which can come within NATO. But now, after those agreements, when the USSR broke down, more and more states are coming within the NATO. So it can be a threat wherein they can attack Russia directly, one way or the other way. For example, there was a recent issue where the missile landed in Poland. So if it would have been a Russian missile, they would have to attack back. So we can say that it is both sides. One is where they want to maintain their older order and the expansion of NATO in the eastern side.
All right. So, what is your opinion about India's stand on it? Because as far as we know, that India has not criticized the Russian invasion, but in the International Court of Justice, we have voted against them. So, what do you think is the India's stand, and is it right? What should we do?
So India's stand is based on the. Can I take a second?
Yeah.
So, in international relations, there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. And all the policies on the foreign policy, they are decided based on national interest. And of course, certain moral grounds have to be taken where there are excesses. On the Ukraine front, we have to see whether our national security is not at threat. For example, we can see with respect to Russia, we cannot criticize it openly because they are nearly 60% of our defense supplies come from Russia. On the European side, we can see we are dependent on them. We are integrating with them. We are having a trade deal going on with UK, which is on the verge, which we are on the verge of signing. On the European side, we have a lot of Indian expatriates going on there. So we have maintained a balanced approach in this issue.
All right.
Do you remember?
Sir, please.
Do you remember that there was this when George Bush second or George Bush first was the president of USA, and when these towers were blasted,
Towers, yes.
and he had this famous one-liner. He said, "Either you are with us, or what
You are against us."
Against us. Now, coming to a situation where Ukraine-Russia war is there, India is playing safe. They keep friends with the Russia also, and on the other hand, they are also helping the European states. Now, if tomorrow NATO says the same line, either with us or against us, what shall India do?
So as far as India standing in the world order is concerned, I don't see a situation where NATO can say you are with us or against us, because we are not a client state of any power. We have our own international standing where we are sovereign. We decide the matters on our own principles. So
Principles are interests.
Interest, national interest. So tomorrow, even if NATO says either against us or with us, we should take a neutral stand. We cannot go against any power.
Do we have that confidence in us that we will be able to resist if we are told to choose between the two?
We have been resisting on from February 2022.
Okay, what happened recently? When India tried to balance between Russia and this, and what did USA do?
So USA has been
Something happened recently. USA changed its policy vis-a-vis Pakistan. Do you see that? Do you see that has some connection with this?
There can be pressure tactics from the US because any country is protecting its national interest.
That is general. He's referring you to specific incidents, specific developments.
So, with respect to Pakistan, they have given some hardware for the F-16s for the Pakistani army, for the Pakistani Air Force. So, what USA is saying that it is to maintain peace and order and to strike down the terrorists within there. But we have seen in there was that that dogfight which happened between India and Pakistan, where F-16s were used.
You are spokesperson of Minister of.
Did you see recently that Pakistan was removed from the grey list? India was trying to get it to the black list.
Yes.
Pakistan was in the grey list for a very long time.
Yes, sir.
And do you see any connection between these three issues? Are they connected somehow? Because Pakistan recently has been removed from the grey list.
So, but India also, I mean, at the end, at the plenary session where they took this decision, India was also in support of removing them. Because whatever the document evidence Pakistan had produced, they were satisfied with this. I mean, this is the final report which came out.
So India was also supporting Pakistan to go out of grey list?
I mean,
or they were trying to bring them to black
initially
list?
they were trying to bring them into the blacklist. But what the final statement came out from the FATF, it was like they also supported this thing.
Do you think that it has something to do with India's policy vis-a-vis the Ukraine-Russia war?
They can be pressure tactics which US or the Europeans are doing. That's normal.
Manan, are there any countries in the blacklist of FATF?
Yes, sir.
Which are those?
North Korea, Iran. One more is that I don't remember. I think
So FATF is a brainchild of which organization?
G7.
G7, fine. Your optional is anthropology. Can you tell me the use of anthropology in sports?
So anthropology in sports is like there are certain equipments which like the helmet or the arm guard. So in the anthropology we do the study of all this dimensions of the body, wherein we can take the help of anthropology. It's called, I think, kinematics.
Kinanthropometry.
Kinanthropometry, wherein we take the measurements of the body. I mean, there are 2-3 methods. Sheldon methods is there. Heat and Katha method is there, where we take the measurements and help in the design of sports equipment.
All right. We know that Taiwan is at the top in the semiconductor industry. So, what are the reasons for India's lagging semiconductor industry?
So can I take a second?
Yeah.
So, first is the lack of original equipment manufacturers which are not with India. Second is the capital. The third is the labor force, which, I mean, it requires highly skilled labor force, which India does not have.
Okay.
So, I mean, these are the 3 reasons which you can collect for the lack of India not being in the top of the semiconductor manufacturing.
So, you talked about skilled workforce. Can you give me the reasons why trickle-down theory in economics, the trickle-down theory, did not work in the case of India?
So, trickle-down theory for the semiconductor part.
No, trickle-down theory as in the economic sectors.
Aware of
not aware of. Which is the sector which contributes maximum to the national income?
Service sector.
Service sector. So, what was this? What were the reasons for the early expansion of the service sector, early maturity of the service sector?
So it was after the LPG reforms that the service sector took a push, wherein there was IT revolution which took place, and there were cities which were set up, like the Bangalore city is there, and there was the skilled workforce which was coming out from the engineering colleges, and the expansion of the internet facilities across all these metros.
All right.
And one more reason is the outsourcing of the projects from the European countries to
BPOs and KPOs. Okay. Manan, give me, tell us your best joke.
So best joke. So can I take a second?
Yeah.
So I'm not able to recall.
Okay, can you name 3 consecutive days of a week without naming Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday?
3 consecutive days of a week.
Week without naming Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
I mean, I have to name 3 consecutive days of a week.
Yeah.
Avoiding these 3 days. Avoiding these 3 days.
No?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday.
Sir, please.
Yes, since there was a discussion in the beginning on evolution, the erstwhile species of humans, 4 lakh years before, they were in the middle of the food chain. And after the emergence of the Homo sapiens, within 1 lakh, the man, the Homo sapien, that raised on the top of the food chain. This spectacular leap from the middle to the top in these 1 lakh years, while other species, it took them millions of years. Do you think it had consequences on the ecosystem? The spectacular leap within this shorter duration than compared to the other, like lions, hyenas, rhinoceros. It had a detrimental impact on the ecosystem.
So what I feel like in the evolution of mankind, there are certain events which had detrimental effect on the food chain. For example, when there was evolution of human taking place, there were certain events like there was evolution of fire or the evolution of culture, wherein within the food chain there were changes taking place, wherein the human came on the top of the list. So there were changes which were taking place within the ecosystem, wherein the top of the list became dominant with Homo sapiens.
Okay, what you believe is the pivotal force that made humans rise to the top of the food chain, and more aggressive animals like lions, like these big bonobos or these chimpanzees, they are in the zoos, they are in the laboratories. And what was this pivotal impact? What was this pivotal force that made the humans rise on the top of this overall food chain? Since you
There are a lot of
Now,
factors.
what factor you consider is the most?
So there is the evolution of man as a whole. For example, the expansion of brain, evolution of culture, and certain other things. I mean, culture and
Where you hold language,
So that is-
cooperating better.
so that is the part of culture where there was cooperation, there was evolution of language.
Do you believe religion plays a part in that? In foraging or in cooperating in a better way?
So if we compare it with other species, for example, lion and also, religion has no effect. I mean, you can say if you compare
No, I'm saying on the basis on the cooperation.
cooperation, religion has a greater effect. I mean, the religion as a force in itself is a very important cultural element, wherein different people, I mean, different people cooperate with one another.
Fine. Okay, you have any idea about the GST?
Yes, sir.
Goods and services tax. What were the structural inefficiencies in the erstwhile tax regime, the indirect tax system, which are not in this? What were those structural inefficiencies in the erstwhile taxation system of India, which were overcome by the GST?
So firstly and foremost, there was tax on tax. One thing is there.
What we call that tax on tax. What is that effect called?
Ad valorem. Second most is the interstate taxes, because there were a lot of taxes which were going on. So from one state to other state, prices were going up. So we wanted to uniform the tax rates across the state. And the third and foremost was the ease of administration of the tax rates.
Fine.
Geography, archaeology, you have some knowledge, but you have to enhance the quantum of knowledge about these things, because you will be generally asked questions about your district, your place of birth, or surrounding areas, be it history or be it geography. So you should enrich your knowledge. You have to enhance your knowledge about history and geography. It means you have knowledge, but you have to enhance. You have to go for further improvements. When you answer the question, you should mark a difference between this state sector and central sectors. NHPC is in the government of India. You have a 10% or 12% which you get as a royalty. That's all. But it goes in. The rest goes in the kitty of government of India. So you said 3,500. Even if now assuming we are adding NHPC also, generation, give me the details of 3,500 megawatts. Now you say Wagalyar 900, okay. Uri around 610, ठीक है. Then रियासी क्या है वो, सलाल 700. वो that is to 20-30 कुछ है. Then lower Jhelum 120 शायद. 120 हाँ 370 कुछ है. बस कोता गो ये कितना हुआ ये. तो वो बंद कब का नहीं वो तो पंपर में था एक था.
How much we buy, what's our requirement, that's what you have to do the homework now. This is not an interview now. This is not the feedback that you're taking. So you may be asking the question, you say 3,500, how? From where do you get this?
Fake, don't create fake figures. If you know
say.
He said, don't,
If done no,
exactly, but it's somewhere around this. Maybe that's also a way out of dodging the question. Once you start giving exact figures, you are caught.
So actually, this I have read. There was a statement from Governor that we are.
no, one is generating capacity right now. Byak hua, we are having this product and ultimately will be generating this much. That's another thing. There are a couple of projects on Chenab right now under execution that will increase the total output of electricity in the state. But that is another matter. Right now, it is not 3,500. This is just to enable you to be specific and truthful before the commission. About Ukraine, you have to keep in mind that in Ukraine, the areas, Ukrainian territory which borders Russia, they are Russian speaking. So they have a tendency of extraterritorial loyalties, as is the case in the rest of the world, wherever there are similar situations. So that is why they have gone for, after annexing those territories, they have gone for referendum. And people have voted for Russia. Second, last time Russia occupied Crimea. Why was that done? Because they wanted greater access to the, to what? Black Sea. So this is very important. Now there is Belarusia also, Belarus also. There too we have Russian population. But this Belarus has almost international, there is commonality between Russia and Belarus in respect of international issues, international matters. So no problem for them. In fact, there is a client state of now Russia. Ukraine was asserting independence. They were trying for even joining NATO. Now, even if they had joined NATO, be sure NATO would not have gone for full-fledged war. They will use Ukraine the way others have done in the past in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Vietnam, not in Vietnam, but in Korea, other places. So, you should understand the background. Why Russia is in a position to influence the outcome in this Ukrainian crisis. Reason is local population is with Russia in areas bordering Russia, not rest of the Russia, which is towards Europe. No, they are fiercely opposed to Russia.
There is also reason you said that they want to restore Soviet Union.
Russia did not get disintegrate because of the federating units. No, Russians wanted Russians to be independent of these other states. If you go through the history preceding disintegration of USSR, these Central Asian republics were more Russian, more Soviets than Russians. There was no uprising against Russia in those Central Asian republics. 5 hai na kya 5 unme, and others, except states which are on Baltic side, they were against them. So it was Russians who thought that we are suffering because of these states.
We don't want to take the burden of these
So Russia got disintegrated. Just to enhance your information, contrary to position in India, there is a resolve in the country that come what may, we will not leave northeastern states. We will not leave Kashmir. We will not leave even an inch of the country. Whatever the cost, whatever the price we have to pay. There's a national resolve. That was not the case in the case of Russia. Since Russians were not prepared, they were not willing to suffer for the sake of other states, Russia got disintegrated. So this you should keep in mind when you go before the commission. There was some question about this American supplies to Pakistan. You talked about Pakistan used that for terrorism purposes. Pakistan used that for. Did we ask that question to you?
It was like F-16 because there was they had given some equipments for F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan.
Okay, but Pakistan got F-16 from USA way back in 80s when they were fighting Soviets in Afghanistan. Now, if the country is invaded, will they ask F-16 pilots to just watch and allow their entire country to be destroyed? Will they? And then there was no question like that from the panel. No, just there was no such question. It's like avoid. And if there's a question, answer as the way an Indian would have answered. Russian oil, India did purchase at highly subsidized rates. Why?
Because it is cheap. I mean,
No, India. Why India is getting?
Why no cry? Why does
Turkey is ally of USA. Pakistan is non-NATO ally. In terms of alliances, they are nearer to USA. But Turkey was slapped with sanctions by USA for procuring S-400 missile system. India was not. And India has gone ahead with the procurement. Oil again, despite American pressures, they purchased oil from USA. You are referring to national interests, but they have the capacity. That is, you are following, you are pursuing your international relations independent to the concerns of others. You go by your national interests. Means you have national resolve, you have capacity, you can do it. This is the example. Okay, thank you. Overall, he had good contents, but thought about when you talk, you appear to be casual. So, you have excellent contents, good exposure, a bit communication skills to be fine-tuned, and sitting posture also to be, best be comfortable, be properly suited that day, because dress. So,
And are they supposed to carry the papers also?
so this was extra forms which I carried myself.
like this, why are you carrying like this?
So this is that day avoid it, you know.
Yes,
that day-
No, if you have some paper, दिखाना होगा कुछ, usually you are not asked to produce. It is not selection for this post of professor in the university. You show your
show documents,
documents, publication as
your recent contributions.
तो वो है नहीं. But अगर कुछ होगा भी साथ, मिसाल के तौर पर, you keep on the table. That is all. And be really in an elegant manner, अच्छी तरह से, but not exhibiting arrogance in seating while maintaining the posture on the chair. It's not that you seem to be something Kustamati Smar Khan.
You see what will happen that human beings are very complex persons, Maybe you hurt somebody's ego there by straight away telling him blank on his face that I don't support your argument, So you hurt somebody's ego, and that ego will hurt you in reverse. So what you can diplomatically say that I think this is a sort of a misconceived or a misunderstood thing. बात वही है. The moment you say that I don't support, that means you are contradicting what you are asking for. So you say, I think probably this is a misconceived notion that it's like that. It's actually what I feel it is probably like this. So use these words, probably, I think, misconceived, misunderstood. They will help you.
This in mind, do not interrupt the panel. You interrupted sir once, so he was just asking the question, do not interrupt. And tax on tax is not ad valorem, it is cascading effect, we call it. And just keep this in mind. Sir was asking about a question and you just straight away said, I don't support the argument. That is not a balance of judgment. They want you to have a balance. So if the sir is aligned to a particular ideology, you have to be balanced. So you straight away said, I don't support the argument. Thank you.
We'll see. Hopefully you'll make it.
Inshallah. Take this with you.